Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Let's Chat Live, a show where we interview new and upcoming podcasts to find out more about their show and why you should listen. I am your host, Robert, and with me today is John from Dumbfound Dead Podcast.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I just got to know about this opportunity about probably 10 minutes ago.
That's how we do it. Just
Exactly.
gonna throw you in. We're gonna have some fun. It'll be
It's
great.
all about improv. That's what we do here, right?
That's right. So yeah, today on our show, we have the opportunity to sit down with Kurt from the Half Hour Bros podcast, podcast featuring two brothers and endless opinions. So without further ado, please welcome Kurt.
Yay, cue the studio applause. Yay. Hey, there we go. Studio of two. I'll take it. It's more fans. That's more fans than I've met so far. So thank you. Welcome.
We do what we can. So how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good. Real quick, fill-in guy. What podcast are you from again?
I am from the Dumbfound Dead podcast.
Oh, I see you all over my Twitter. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
My guy. Yeah.
It is funny because it's your intro is half hour bros. Like, our intro as well is two good brothers, even though we're not related whatsoever. But that's pretty funny. So we're gonna have fun tonight.
Now, I don't know if you guys take guests. We take guests on ours once a month. I don't, maybe you want to do a swapperoo.
Yes, sir. We can talk.
There it is.
Definitely.
I like the. You don't. He needs to be the permanent guy. That's. You need to promote him out of the fill-in spot.
Let's make it happen.
Done. I can do that. I don't have that power. That actually rests with my wife.
By the power vested in Robert's wife.
That's right.
Hey, that's funny because my co-host
actually in charge.
My co-host is actually an ordained minister, so he can actually say that.
Well, there you go.
Very random, but we'll talk later.
What's going? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're on my Twitter for sure, man. I don't know if you know that, if you follow us or not, but yeah, we followed you guys off rip. You're one of the first ones we followed.
Awesome.
Well, there we go. Well, sweet. Go ahead and mute my phone real quick.
Small podcast world.
Yeah. It really is. It's a small world in general, but the podcast world, especially the indie podcast world, everybody knows everybody, and it's really become. I got into really getting into this podcast world about a month and a half ago, and I love this community. It's great people. So your show,
okay,
is you and. Are you actually brothers?
Whether he'd like to admit it or not, yes, we are actual related brothers. He's 8 years older. I'm 30. He's 38.
Awesome. How often do you remind him about how much older he is?
Every time I see him. Every time I see him, I just go, wow, it's like looking in a really, really aged, cracked mirror. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So who's more emotionally older than the two, though? That's the biggest question.
He's got 2 kids, so he had to kind of become emotionally older. But if he didn't have the 2 kids, we would probably both be still, 16 mentally.
Yeah.
He kind of had to grow up to raise his children, and I'm just still over here like knocking Lego sets over, just laughing at him.
Are you the one stepping on the kids' Legos, pretty much?
Oh, see, no. As a parent, when you step on the Legos, there is no greater pain.
No, just cut my foot off.
Pain. Yeah, I'm just like, no. At 2:00 in the morning, stepping on a Lego barefoot in the dark, you're just like, oh, please take me now.
If you want a good, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say I still can't relate because I don't have any children either. So.
If you want a good representation of my brother as a father, just picture Adam Sandler from Big Daddy if he had 2 kids, and that's it. That's all it is.
Oh, that's a vivid image.
If you saw him too, that he actually kind of looks like Adam Sandler. It's a really funny. We always give him shit about it. They both have the oval-shaped head, and they're both always angry in the most sarcastically funny way. Yeah,
I like it. So, what made you and your brother decide you wanted to start a podcast together?
He was going to start one initially with somebody else, and they were kind of dragging it along. It never came off, and talk on the phone like constantly. Like we have the same thoughts and opinions in a different perspective. If that makes sense, it's kind of hard to word it, but we're kind of the same, and then we just take a left at some point. We're completely different. So he goes, maybe we could start a podcast. And I was like, all right, give me a month. So I take I'm in my spare bedroom. I got it right here. I buy just the worst audio interface and the 2 worst microphones you could ever find. And I download a recorder on my iPad and got on Spreaker initially. And I was like, all right, let's go. And we were going to call it the Beer Run Podcast. And it was basically just going to be a beer review. And then I look, and there's already a podcast called the Beer Run Podcast that stopped putting out episodes. But I didn't want to, one day when we blow up and have millions of downloads, hint, hint, fingers crossed, knock on. I don't know if this is real wood in this table, but knock, knock.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah, I didn't want people to I didn't want a podcast that didn't publish anymore to get 700,000 downloads a month. So we changed it to the Half Hour Bros, and we try to stick to the half hour part of it, but no promises.
Yeah, no, I was going through a lot of your episodes, and you're pretty good at keeping it to 30. I think one of the longer ones I saw was like 37 minutes.
Yeah, we got a couple in the back catalog that went to like 50 to an hour. We do a sleepover episode every once in a while where it's like, because usually when he comes over, he's picked the kids up, he takes them home, he jets over real quick. He sits down, he's like, all right, 30 minutes, start this shit. And I'm like, all right. I'm trying to like plug wires and stuff in, and usually around like the 29-minute mark, he gives me the wrap it up. He gives me that kind of look like when you want to get the check from the waiter. He's just like, hey, over here.
I got to get back to the kids. So we have a request to know what exactly is in this glass.
I am so glad you asked. I hope we get a sponsor by them someday, but if not, I will sing it from the mountaintops. Gloria's Margarita Wine Mix. It comes pre-made in a bottle. They use wine instead of liquor, like most margaritas. They use like a special kind of like, I don't know, white grape gluten-free wine. I don't know what it is, but I am I'm ready to slide my panties down and dance on a table after about 4 glasses of this stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it gets you there.
Does it help pass the 30 minutes?
Oh man, because he has to come to my house. We're in my guest bedroom, so usually when he gets here, I'm already like 3 deep of whatever we're reviewing or trying. So usually, like when he goes to leave, I'm just like, all right, I'll see you next week at the place, and he just kind of pulls off.
So you mentioned that you wanted to kind of title it a beer run initially. So what's the creative process like between you guys? Like you just come up with ideas on the fly? Is it something that you guys pre-plan? And tell me what the creative process is like for that.
Good question from the filling guy. Another reason why he needs to get a permanent staffing spot here.
Bam.
The top right of my window is looking pretty good right now. I like it. No, it's we split it up pretty evenly. I do a lot of the Twitter back end of it. He makes a lot of the outline portion, but really a lot of it is once we get together, we either argue, we either get on a same topic, we're either yelling at each other, we're either arguing about which story's correct and who's lying, or, holding a grudge from 15 years ago. And I'm like, I still want my damn sandwich you took after like I came home from fucking 3rd grade. But so there's a structure to it. And he tries to keep it structured, and then I just kind of come in like a bull in a china shop and mess up his whole day. That's basically the show.
But that's the best part of being brothers, though. Like the fact that you're like antagonizing each other all the time. That's people can relate to that all day.
And I was also going to say, as the oldest of 3 brothers, that sounded exactly like what my little brothers would do.
See, that's such an older brother thing to say. Whatever,
like,
such an older brother thing.
And then you just come in and just wreck them.
Whatever. Well, don't be mad at the youthful brothers. It's not our fault, okay? We're trying to keep our vitality.
I've actually got a couple years on your brother, so my brothers let me know about that all the time. So I was listening to your most recent episode. Did you say that you've got a new episode that just dropped today?
Yes. Thank you for that random and planned out plug there. I appreciate that. That fell right from the sky. There's no way we talked about that in pre-production. Yeah, we just dropped it today. We usually try to drop it anytime before Friday. That way, Friday at midnight, when it hits Friday. That's such a hard thing to explain to somebody. Thursday at 11:59, and then like in a minute, it's Friday at midnight. But once it drops Friday, anytime you can wake up. We're on Libsyn. you can Google the Half Hour Bros podcast. I think we've just gotten enough downloads to where Google will put us somewhere in the top 5 when you search it. You used to have to go to page 96 in the unknown section just to catch a snippet of our show, but it's a little more searchable now.
I like it. So, but where I was going with that initially is I hear that one of you streams on Twitch.
You caught the Twitch argument.
I got yeah.
Okay, well, when you listen to the recent one, we really get into why I'm mad at him, but we'll leave that up to the listener. But we're on Twitch. We're still trying to figure out how he can Twitch from the Twitch account on his Xbox.
Okay.
And I can join his party on my Xbox, and we both be heard in the Twitch stream. Haven't figured that out yet. It's a little frustrating, but again, I handle like the Twitter, editing, all the drops that you hear, posting it, artwork, titles, description. He handles outline, and then now he, just recently took on the Twitch. So I refuse to help him on the Twitch. I fervently refuse to help him in any scenario that involves Twitch. I won't do it.
Well, I don't mean for this to be a way for you to help him, but he should talk to me and we can figure out how to help.
Okay.
I can figure out how to make sure that you are heard. That's how I'm going to help you, is that you are heard.
I'm going to go through you to help him, because if he finds out I directly helped him, all hell will break loose.
Yeah, I know. And I know that can't happen.
I know I cannot be a solid brother. No, it won't happen. It'll mess up the whole dynamic and the show will crumble. So I can't do that.
We can't have that. So you do all the recording in your house, and do you do all the editing too?
Yeah, we kind of, the whole premise for the podcast is us talking on the phone, because we would talk on the phone every day. We'd get on these wild tangents, and you can hear it when you listen to the show. It's nothing but just riffs and, this movie, that quote, this and that. So when we recorded, I told him, I was like, I don't want anything to be cut, censored. I don't want to we'll cut this out. It's all one take. If we mess up and we have to start, it's completely start over. There's no, let me go back and slide over. All the drops I actually drop in the episode. They're not dropped in post, so he hears them as they play, instead of if you were remote, you'd have to go back in. The only thing I do really is I upload it to iMovie every once in a while, take a little bit of the hum out, put in the little audio modify. So it's a really easy show to edit. It's kind of a cop out saying that I edit the show, but we do it one take, and I kind of we haven't had to restart an episode in a while. I like the organic flow, one take. Whatever you say, you got to live with that. If you choke on it and say something and completely just F up a line, you have to go eat that now for the next 20 minutes until we're done recording.
Fair enough.
Yeah, unless I'm too drunk, and then I'm just like, no, we're gonna start it over. We're gonna when I mess up, I'm real quick to be like, no. And he'll be like, we're 29 minutes in. I'm like, I don't fucking care. We're starting this thing over. Let's go.
So you actually sound like you handle all pretty much the technical aspect of the show.
Yes.
Do you enjoy doing that process? Because I know every time I listen to a lot of podcasters, they said that editing is probably the worst part to do.
It can be. It just depends on what kind of show you want to have. I know of a podcast now where it's 3 brothers and they all record remotely. Maybe you guys know Dad's on Dayquil. Anybody?
Yes.
God, these guys are crushing it. Everywhere I go, I mention Dad's on Dayquil, and they're like, yes, absolutely.
They're hilarious.
They're podcasting goals. I want everyone to react to my show one day the way that everyone reacts when I say Dad's on Dayquil. Doesn't matter where I go. I'm like, you guys haven't heard of, Dad's on Dayquil. They're like, oh yeah, just finished listening to him. Like, Jesus Christ, these guys are everywhere. But and they have a lot of editing. He has to edit in every drop he does. He has, they have Audacity that they have to back up the audio on. Uh-huh. So, and he makes it sound almost like they're not even remote. It almost sounds like they're in studio when you listen to them. So we kind of copped out. We got a real easy show to edit. Sometimes it's hard. We do Skype episodes once a month. We just started a thing where we're going to have special guests. We had Florida Men on Florida Man. We had one of them on there. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Another hilarious group.
They are really booming.
They're killing it. Yep.
They're crushing it.
I mean, Florida Man, in it by itself, it's Florida Man.
I did tell him, I said, you need to watch out when you plug your show, because there's a couple of websites where I could type Florida Men on Florida Man into the search bar and get something completely different than a podcast.
That's not entirely something that you can search in your work website.
Oh, you might get a whole different Florida Man on a whole different Florida Man. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My wife would like to know. Tell me about your background. What kind of do you have some sound absorption panels back there?
So when we had show and tell here, I guess these were I don't know if you can see too well. I'll just snap that shit off. These were the first mics that we had, kind of in the very beginning, and we had like the little ninja mask, and for some reason it had the horrible ring to it and like echo. So we slid the table all the way back. This isn't the normal setup. Usually we're here and here in the room, but since I'm doing this, I kind of put the Mac to the front by the door, and I'm back. And we would sit as close as we can to these. Yeah, they are sound absorbers. Okay. They worked for a purpose. And then after a while, I was like, look, man, the only way we're going to get better audio is if I just cover the whole fucking room in these things.
Yep.
So I kind of stopped at that right there.
I mean, look at I just moved to a new house right now. It's
congratulations.
Bones. So I'm still working on putting all the panels. So that's actually a good idea that I'm stealing from you right there.
It's good. Yeah, either that or look into they actually have sound absorbing paint that you can paint your room into that will deaden the whole inside of it. Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that. I'm tired of painting. I just painted the whole house.
Oh, I bet, dude. I bet we moved into here. We had to fix up some stuff. And I remember we were like, we had nothing. We had barely any furniture from the apartment. We had like absolutely nothing. And we're like, fuck it though. We just move. We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Yep.
Like we were so proud to just have moved in general.
Yeah, it got me feeling like Will Smith in that scene in Fresh Prince where he's just looking at everything. God damn, this whole thing is empty.
Have you seen the have you gone back and seen where he memorized everybody's lines in the show and you would see him mouthing? If you go back, you'll see him mouthing everyone else's lines because he was so unexperienced at acting that he would learn all of the lines in the script just to keep up.
Oh wow.
I now I have to go back and watch it.
Same. I did not know that.
Yeah, I watched just another thing that TikTok throws in your face.
Oh gosh, TikTok and Reels, those are just like complete time suckers right there. You're looking at it at like 8:00 at night. Next thing you know, it's 2:30 in the morning, and now you're doing surveys.
My thumb hurts. My thumb hurts. Like I have legitimate arthritis in my right thumb from swiping up.
Oh God.
That's something I haven't gotten into actually.
You're lucky. Don't do it, Robert. Don't do it, my friend. Do not drink the Kool-Aid. Go away.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Will do. I finally deleted my Facebook account and I was just like, okay, I think I've got enough social media with Twitter and Instagram and Twitch. I'm done.
Well, see, you're brave because it's hard for me to delete Facebook because it's a good supplier of memes. Okay, like I got some 100% bomb memes and on Facebook, but then Twitter's where the party's at. That's kind of where everyone's talking, everyone's engaged. Instagram,
Yeah, it depends on your relationship status if Instagram's for you. Because when I was single before I met my wife, Instagram was great. Yeah, Instagram was popping. And then you get married and you're like, I don't think I need to be on here as much. This feels like a trap.
Mine's on private now because I'm married too. So I'm like, I am not going to accidentally double tap someone and sleep on the couch tonight.
Right.
I just double tapped the pictures of my kids. So.
And I don't have kids, so if I double tap something, she's gonna be like, "All right, what's up? What's going on?"
Same here. Yep. I'm gonna be on a doghouse pretty much.
Sorry about that. So, what kind of so when you're developing these shows that you want to talk about, I know you said that your brother comes up with the plans, but if you got to make up the topic for the evening.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes when we're making them, he'll kind of have a shell. We just had our first year. We're coming up on a year. Actually, we're a year into it. We have about 50 episodes. There's been a couple times we took a week off. So we're celebrating a year of podcasting, and we kind of sat down and went, all right, this is what works. This is what clearly everybody hates. This is what, this is what's not going well. This is what we need to add. So we actually have a week 1 and 3 outline, and we have a week 2 and 4. Where 1 and 3, I think we do a beer review in the outline, and 2 and 4, I think we do like movie review, and then we do like a getting to bro you, where we tell stories of when we were younger and we ask questions. We do current event. Damn, let me spill that shit. We do current events. We do we kind of switch it all up, and sometimes he'll make the shell of one, and we'll kind of call each other and put in like the proteins of it.
Okay.
I like that. That sounds a really good idea.
And then sometimes, you gotta, it's we're brothers, but sometimes you gotta say, hey man, that's the shittiest idea I've ever heard. And then sometimes he'll call me and go, I have no idea where you're trying to go with this. There's no way we're putting it on the paper. And I'm like, okay, you got it. Just sometimes you have to look and say, all right, I don't get it. Then, but yeah, we'll take it out. And then you look back, you're like, thank God, that made no fucking sense.
So, okay, I got this question for you. Maybe I can get your creative juices thinking.
Okay.
All right. So I've heard you talk about a bunch of different podcasters that you've admired in the indie podcasting scene. Dad's on Dayquil. You talked about Florida Man on Florida Man. If you can come up with some sort of like an Avengers team of podcasters that you just want to assemble with, who would be your top 3 or top 5 people?
Now, indie podcast?
You can be both. You can mix it up in both.
Oh, okay. Well, first and foremost, just because the Wayne guy from Florida Man on Florida Man, he was so nice about coming on our show. They don't really have guests on their show. They've got like publicists, sponsors. They've got like a management team and all that. But he was so nice about coming on my show, and I do like baloney numbers compared to these guys. Like it's laughable. And he was so humble when he came on. So respectful. He did nothing but, give compliments and things we could work on. He was saying, I'll come back anytime you want. He tweeted it from his social to give us a bump. Like, he was just a really good guy. And, you don't have to be sometimes when you make it. Right. Like it's not expected when you start doing numbers. You really can kind of like lift your nose up at people. But he was nothing but he would be number 1. Dad's on Dayquil would be number 2. And then I'd have to dip into celebrity podcast. Bad Friends with Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino is one of the best podcasts out there.
Okay.
Bobby Lee, obviously, Mad TV, stand-up comedian.
Gosh. Hilarious guy.
Andrew Santino, who I actually wasn't a huge fan of. And then I listened to the podcast. So they would be the third one. 2 Bears, 1 Cave with Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer is a great podcast. And the King and the Sting podcast with Theo Vaughn and Brendan Schaub. Okay. Joe Rogan was on my list, and then he went to Spotify, and he moved into that weird spaceship in Texas, and he doesn't make sense anymore. All his guests are political, and he's trying to push this agenda. I want the Joe Rogan that dropped mushrooms and was drinking Bud Light talking to Post Malone. Those are the fucking episodes I want to see. I don't want to see you on there with like the guy who said he saw aliens, or the female whatever, or the male whatever from this correspondent political group. I want to see Neil deGrasse Tyson on there talking about how we're all going to get sucked into a space vacuum in the next 200 years. Like that's what you want to get fucked up and listen to.
It's all the damn DMT that he's been possibly quote unquote taking. So maybe we'll see.
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
He pleads the 5th, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Now that he has 100 million from Spotify, he pleads a lot of things. Yeah.
I would. So another question from the from my wife, which was one of mine too. So what kind of social media works best for you?
In the beginning,
to get your word out.
In the beginning, we sat down. We were like, all right, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Twitter. I didn't like, I don't really like Instagram's platform. It's kind of like picture based, and I really wanted it to be more like links and maybe like a GIF and like descriptions and kind of like. And when I thought of it, I was basically just describing Twitter. So we don't have a Facebook. I think that's one thing. We actually joined the Let's Chat Live group 2 days ago. We just joined, so we're part of the Let's Chat Live, network or group. I'll call it a group. They want to label it as a group, so it's the group. But they were talking about how they can help you set up your Facebook and your Instagram. So we might go down that rabbit hole. But as of right now, we're pretty locked in on Twitter. I think we got 1,600 followers, and we've been on there, I don't know, maybe like 6 months, 7, 8
Wow.
months. So yeah, I basically go in there and follow a bunch of people, and then every 3 or 4 days go in and unfollow the ones that don't follow back. And I've been, a guy told me a long time ago of the Bend and Scoop podcast. I was on that, and he said to follow a lot of podcasts, because when you tweet, then they retweet, and you're not just getting some, local guy who's a fan that retweets. You're also getting a podcast that retweets to their whole audience that's looking at their page for retweets. So then it's kind of a like, I tell one guy, but that one guy has 1,000 people behind him that listen to him. So really, I told 1,001 people.
Right.
Yeah, and that's possibly the most awesome thing about the Twitter community as a whole. And like you said, like, the guys in Florida Man and Dads on Dayquil, like, you're right. Like they do possibly get major numbers, but they are very humble, and they help people out. They support the smaller shows to get noticed out there. And you don't hear anyone like raising their nose and raising their eyebrows like, oh, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. You can have 2 followers, and if they like what they hear from you, they'll support you. And that's possibly the most awesome thing about the indie podcast community.
I really didn't think it would be this much of a family. When you're in something that everybody wants to get there successful, you kind of run into like a NASCAR situation to where it's like, I got my car and my team, you got your car and your team. Don't let me see you on the track, or I'm going to bump you, and, Rubbins racing type shit. But with this, it's been nothing but, I'd love to have you on ours,
Right.
even if you don't want to invite me on yours. I'd love to have you on my show. And, what's your Twitter? I'll go ahead and tweet it. And what's your pinned tweet? And let me get you guys out there. What are you on? Oh, I'm on Lipson too. Let me help you out with some things you might not have known. Like it really kind of floored me. I got humbled real quick with the amount of like acceptance that there is.
Well, and I think one of the things is like the podcasting, the industry itself is it's just growing. I think there's a misconception that the podcasting, the boom ended years ago, but I think it's just getting bigger. It's a new medium that people still are exploring and learning how to really go with. So the community is always looking to help new people, because it is a community. It's everybody's just learning and growing together. So it's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And, people might say that the podcast scene is saturated, but I think every show is a different flavor for everybody. You might not like a specific show, but this other show does it a certain way. You might enjoy that. There could be a topic that they're covering that, let's say, has explicit language. You don't like that. The other show that does it doesn't have explicit language, and you might like that better. So another question. With that said, like, you probably have people listening to you right now, possibly thinking like, hey, I have this relationship with my brother or my sibling or whatever. This is how we are. Maybe I want to start my own podcast. Like, do you have any advice for those people that are kind of just holding off a little bit and say like, I don't really know how to start. I don't know what to do. Like, what would you tell them if you can go back, or if you could put yourself in your shoes again?
I would tell them, if you're starting it to be famous, then don't. If you're starting it because you think it's really fun and you want to do it with, because, my brother is basically my best friend. So in the sense that I talk about, we argue all the time. I talk about, how we yell like we're best friends and siblings. So when we started this, it wasn't, we both have full-time jobs. We didn't start this to be like, I need this to take off because I want to make as much money as I humanly can. We started it to be like, what a great way to get together, drink a couple beers and bullshit. And maybe if we put it out and somebody likes it, that's kind of like the ultimate compliment. Is somebody going, I took 30 minutes of my day or plus that I could have done anything else, and I listened to your content because it connected and it hit. That's honestly like the biggest payment that I want to receive out of this, because when I listen to someone else's show, I got a lot of shit going on in my day. I got life, I can't sit down and listen to podcasts for 9 hours straight. You have things to do in your life. So it is kind of special when you tune into a show or you tune into a movie, like you're giving up your time of your day to something that you think's interesting. So that's really why we wanted to do it, is we knew there had to be, like you said, it was a good point. There had to be other people out there with friends or siblings or family members, cousins that have that same kind of love, hate, love relationship. And, if it becomes something, pops off and we end up monetizing and other things like that, fantastic. I'm never going to be mad at that. If not, I'll still do this for another 15 years and not make a penny off of it.
That's awesome. And yeah, a lot of it is passion too, because sometimes when people starting to feel like it's work, that's kind of when their creativity goes away. And speaking of creativity, I know you said you get into some TikTok holes or like Reels holes for some reason. I do the same thing. With you starting your own podcast with your brother, would you say that you appreciate like creative content a little more than you used to now?
I appreciate everything more. I appreciate logos. If you look, I don't know if when you went on Libsyn, you probably saw our logo with the 2 beer mugs hitting. Like I just bought a Logo Maker Pro, went in and made that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've learned to do so much shit now. I've made logos for like 2 or 3 other podcasts. I've helped out like so many other people fielding questions. I've gotten so good at editing little, in the beginning you're like, I need to get this sound effect as a drop for my episode, but it's not really something that's downloadable. So what do? Here, I'll screen record my iPad to get it on there and turn it into a file and trim it down to get a little background noise out and raise I've learned. I was so oblivious to how to do this. Picture art. I remember I went to upload picture art and it was like, it's not the right size. And I'm like, it's a fucking picture. I hit download. I put it on here, put it on the thing for the people. And it's like, no, it's got to be 1600 by 1350. And I had to get a picture resizer app. Like there is so much, figuring out the audio for this show, getting to where we had decent, microphones, decent headsets, a table, just every month. I feel like we add something that enhances the show a little bit.
As far as like intangible things you learn from podcasting, like for me personally, I've been terrible when it comes to time management and doing a podcast now. I mean, it's pretty much a second full-time job with the amount of hours that I'm putting in. So time management definitely had to learn. Like you said, I didn't know jack either when I first started. I had to YouTube, Google everything. I looked at Adobe Premiere like the first time, or Adobe Audition the first time around. I'm just like, I only know how to open a file. What am I supposed to do with the rest of this? So as far as intangible things that you've learned now that you're a podcaster, what would you say is probably the best thing that you've learned out of this whole experience?
It would be another tip. I hate to shout these guys out. They're so booming right now. And I hate it in the best way possible with the most amount of respect. It's like I would salute them and try to like chop them on the arm after I saluted. The Florida Man on Florida Man guy told me, he said, drop an episode when you say you're going to drop an episode. Don't say your episodes drop on Friday and they drop on Saturday, because they might forgive you once or twice. But then after that, they're going to say, oh, there's more out there. Yep. Because it is saturated only in the sense that you're hard to find. And there's a lot of other guys putting in a lot of work, dropping on time, doing a lot of different things to get their show out there. So if you're not meeting the kind of demand of what people expect, if you say, hey, new episode, because we were bad at this in the beginning. We were new episodes every Thursday. We record on Thursdays. And it doesn't take, much to upload it. But I would just, in my head, I'm like, it's too much. There were times where I had to leave right after we recorded, and then I had to go to bed for work, and it would drop Friday afternoon. And you probably missed some people that went to see, and they went, oh, there's no new episode. And they could have found any other thing to do, and if you do that 2 and 3 times, your show just kind of be like, well, are they even putting as much effort into making the show as I am to find time to listen? So we changed it to Friday, and we're pretty hardcore about that now. Anytime from Thursday night into Friday at midnight, you're going to see it posted.
Fair enough. So you've learned how to do all the recording, the mixing, the everything, the promoting. What would you say has been just the toughest challenge that you've had to overcome while you were growing your show?
Honestly, financially, it was one of those to where it doesn't cost much to make just a podcast, but it's kind of like anything else in this world. It's like, you sign up for something and it's like, here's the free trial. And you're like, oh, that's great. And it goes, oh, you wanted to be able to click buttons? That's another $5 a month. Oh, you wanted to be on for more than 10 minutes? Oh, you need the $7.99 package for that, buddy. So it turned into one of those things where I remember we got a tweet promoted by somebody that retweets, And I remember I paid, I'm not even going to tell you what I paid. It's a shameful amount. And the guy retweeted it. And I think we maybe saw 5 downloads spike in that week. And I kind of went, okay, well, not every bit of advertising is good. Not every, you know, and then I started getting into kind of free advertising to where shows, you know, going back to the podcast community, a show would be like, hey, let's do a retweet swap. Do you guys have a promo? Do you have an audio promo? Let's do an audio promo swap. I'll play yours on mine. You play yours on, you know, and it doesn't matter how many people that he has listened to his show. It's about a connection.
Yep.
To have like that guy is promoting your stuff. You're promoting his. And you gotta just keep other people in your circle, or else you're really going to be on an island by yourself looking for a hand, and no one's going to want to give it to you.
It's really good. It's a good analogy and just recommendation for life in general, but especially in this.
True. But yeah, the money was one. We thankfully we got an Amazon credit card that we signed up for, and we were able to put we've changed microphones 3 times. We finally got the ones we want. We've changed headphones twice. This is the 3rd audio interface that we've had. Like, I kept, you know, as we kept progressing, we upgraded to an iMac. That's what I'm using now for the StreamYard. We record the show on an iPad. So as it's gone, I've kind of like meticulously, you know, the chairs are crapping out now. The chairs are going to be the next investment. We need I like your chair. What kind of chair you got up there, Robert?
This one, something that we got at Staples. I can't even remember what the brand name was.
Is it comfortable? Is it working for you?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because this one is not, and it creaks, and you can hear it on the playback, so it's got to go. It's this thing right here that I'm sitting in. My cat has fucked this thing up to no end.
My cat's not allowed on my chair.
I say that, and then I'll just be recording, and I'm like, I swear I closed the door to this fucking place. I don't know how you got in here. And he'll just be like, just right on the back of this thing, just like breathing on my neck. So yeah, we need some new chairs, but other than that, man. We just now got it within this last year to where we're like, okay, stop spending money. We're done. We're done.
Especially during the middle of a pandemic. Let's stop.
Right.
God.
So with that said about the biggest challenge in the show, I know a lot of people usually celebrate when they hit a milestone on downloads, or, you know, they got a retweet from like someone famous. What would you say your biggest accomplishment that you could possibly celebrate you said you've been around for a year almost?
Yeah.
What would you say your biggest accomplishment in the year that you've been podcasting?
Breaking 1,000 downloads for the month. When we broke 1,000 for the month, I kind of went, you know, because when we first started, actually here, since you guys want me to pull the curtain back and show you how the sausage is made. Hang on one second. Maybe not how the sausage is made. I don't like that one. Maybe
what kind of curtains in front of making sausage?
I would imagine a zipper, but that's just my personal opinion. Yeah. So, you know, we started off in the first month. We had like 42 downloads. You know what I'm saying? It was basically the 42 people that I send it to. I sent it to like 75 and 42. And then I remember we broke 1,000, and then we broke 1,200, and then, you know, we're February 10th, 11th right now, and we've got 450 for February.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we're kind of on track to, and I'm just, you know, we lost a little bit. Again, we weren't posting when we were supposed to. We were dropping 2 days late. We were not putting enough time into the outline. We were kind of showing up and being like, "Did you write an outline?" No, I thought you were going to write an outline. Fuck. Hit the record button. Let's see how this goes. And we kind of had to look and say, we need to put in as much effort as we expect them to put in. If you want somebody to be a like faithful listener, you got to put in that, like you said, part-time, full-time job outside of your other job. It really is like when I'm not at work and I'm not on TikTok, I'm trying to put in as much time as I can to craft this thing in. User feedback, it's hard to get. You really got to get numbers before people start interacting. Especially on email. Like, true. We plug our email, you know, we do 3 plugs in a show, and we don't get a lot of emails. We get a lot of Twitter, you know, so you have to find your mediums. And the hope is to get the downloads high enough to where half the show is user created content and the other half is what we bring as the 2 hosts to kind of tailor it. because you like hearing a show, but you also have ideas. If you take your idea that you think's good and put it out to 2,000 people, out of those 2,000, at least maybe 100 can give you some helpful feedback how to make it better and grow to 10,000.
Right. And I think that's always the next step for any show in particular is just fan interaction. Because once you start getting the buy-in of the people who are consuming your product, that's where they'll start suggesting it to people like, hey, I really love this show. And most of the time they have friends that has similar interests to them. So, I mean, that's right. It can only snowball from there.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to call my wife to get a refill here on the margarita glass. Hello?
He's actually calling it.
Can I get a refill in here? Thank you.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you.
Oh, I love it.
All right. Okay. I don't know if that's going to get me in trouble yet. We'll find out later tonight. Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned for the new podcast. Half Hour Bro podcast with Tom.
Yeah.
That's it. Now streaming directly from the couch in the living room.
Yeah, it's gonna be the cat is gonna be the only one recording for that next episode.
That cat's gonna become my best friend real quick, and I'm 90% sure he hates me. I don't know. He loves me when it's time to eat, and then outside of that, he just runs up and tries to paw me in the face.
Yep. Cats are only loyal to themselves.
You want to just hand it? I'll take it. You don't, unless you want to say hi. No? Okay. Well, it's nice seeing you. All right. I promise she's real, guys. She didn't want to make an appearance, but
she has a hand.
I promise. That's right.
I saw the hand.
We know she I'm at least married to a floating hand. We'll have to get the rest of the details later.
Hey, man, it's 2021. No one's judging you if it was a floating hand. Right?
You know what? Yeah, maybe I identify as a floating hand, okay?
Yeah, there's a bunch of new technology coming out right now, and if that's what you have, it's margarita serving floating hand.
I'm gonna need to take that note later.
Gloria's margarita mix. This is the mango. Let me put this down.
Oh, my favorite fruit. Okay. Go and look at that up.
It'll slip up on you though. You'll start to get on glass number 3, and you're like, oh, this isn't a Capri Sun. This has alcohol in it. I forgot.
See,
this isn't a melted popsicle.
That's the dangerous part, because when we record, we usually take shots of Hennessy. So that usually creeps up on us pretty bad.
Yeah, don't be surprised taking shots of Hennessy. You're like, oh man, this is creeping up on me. It's Hennessy. You should know it from the bottle. You're just sitting here like, dude, all we did was drink like 8 shots of Hennessy, and out of nowhere, I felt tipsy. No shit.
Half of my blood. I'm not 70% water. I'm like 35% water, 35%
Hennessy. So Jesus.
Love it. All right. So hard-hitting journalism question here for you. Since your show is about beer and movies, give me your top 5 beers.
Ooh, just beer or any alcoholic beverage?
I'll give you an alcoholic beverage.
Oh, thank God. Thanks God for that cop-out. Because, every time someone asks you a question, I could name off 30, and then you call me and say, hey, name 2 beers. I'm like, seltzer, and I just hang the phone up. I just brain freeze.
Bud Light.
Michelob Ultra Gold, the organic, is my all-time favorite beer. It tastes so smooth that it's just, I don't know, man. I kind of have an old soul when it comes to beers. I don't want them to be too stout and too whatever. So Michelob Ultra Gold. Bud Light Platinum's a good one if you really just want to take it to the next level. If you want the greatest night you'll never remember, Bud Light Platinum.
That's beer pong beer right there for us.
Oh my, yeah! If you want one game, like, you know what I'm saying? If you want to play half a game,
that's all I got in me.
I'm trying to remember. Coastal Crush. This is another good one. It's a sour mimosa beer. Huh. Holy shit!
Never heard of sour mimosa beer before.
Now
Coastal Crush.
You'll need some of the medicine from that old guy pitched on those diabetes supply commercials back in the day, because you will go into you will go into shock. You will literally start seizing after about 2.5 of them. That's 3. I got to throw Gloria's on here. And after that, I'm just a Bud Light guy. I can always just go tap into a Bud Light.
All right, Gloria's.
I do love vodka and Red Bull. When you go to a bar and order a vodka and Red Bull, holy shit!
So you want to get like wasted but not fall asleep.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened at Half Price Drinks at the Mexican restaurant 2 days ago. They had half price drinks, and I went, and each vodka and Red Bull was like $2.75.
Oh, that's
so I was
trap.
like, I'm a god here. Like money doesn't exist in this place.
Although I'm questioning then what kind of vodka you were getting in the vodka and Red Bull.
It's probably straight up gas.
I asked the guy, I was like, do you have Tito's? And he was like, I can pour some cologne in there. And I was like, all right, man.
They probably pumped up some gas in your local shell right there.
Come in a big plastic bottle.
No, it was okay. It was good. But then I was really drunk when I got home. So I was like, perfect, I'll go to bed. Nope. And then when I laid down, my brain was like, you also had like 3 Red Bulls, buddy. I was like, yep, let's see what's on TikTok.
We were just talking about that a past episode we had. We were saying that I don't know if you've ever had the original formula of Four Loko.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we were just saying, like, if you ingested that sometime in your life, you shouldn't be afraid of what's inside the vaccine. I don't
think you can get the coronavirus if you drink the original Four Loko.
Exactly. I'm just like, there's no way. That's enough harmful stuff that you can put inside your body. You're gonna be fine.
You just need one.
Exactly.
Like I've never had something to where I drink one can and I'm like, I don't know. I'm in trouble. I don't think can you guys take me home? Like you just start getting paranoid. You're like, my heart's beating fast. Holy shit.
It's like those situations when you get so drunk and you end up like waking up in the middle of the field the day after. But with Four Loko, you will wake up in the middle of the field. You know that you're there. But
I don't know if I've ever woken up in the middle of the field, but coming from the guy who takes shots at Hennessy, it's all starting to come together now. I'm starting to piece together the picture.
I mean, there's a reason why my show is called Dumbfound because I should have been in one of them.
It's just like, I'm not dead. All right, let's keep this show rolling. More Hennessy.
Keep going.
Yeah,
more Hennessy while I practice my eulogy. Yeah.
Apparently didn't do enough of this.
Yeah.
God, man. Hennessy, that's nuts. I'm about to check out your guys' show, though. I see you guys on Twitter a lot, and I have a list that I add, like shows that I come across, I add them, and I kind of, because there's so many out there that when I find one that I want to listen to, or if I do somebody's show, or if I see somebody that tells me they have a show, I'll always be like, okay, I'll give it an episode and see how it vibes. What would if I was gonna go watch your show, you could pick one episode that would really draw people in. What's that gonna be? Because that's the one I'm gonna check out.
We always go to this episode. It's episode 3, and I know most of the time people said don't listen to the very early episodes, but I want to say episode 3. It's called That Mustang. Okay. Let's just say it's a guy who chose to have sex with a horse, and let's just say I'll just let you wonder what else happens to him.
No, I don't have to wonder, buddy. I am checking that. If I wasn't listening before, I'm 100% listening now.
Yeah, we have themes in our episodes. So every time, like we always say, like that's by food, that's by sex.
That would be hilarious if you were the show that labeled it the episode where. I would love to see the title, the episode where the guy fucks a horse. That would make my day to just see that on a streaming platform.
Yep.
Oh my God. I wonder if we can check in and see how the horse is doing.
Trying to keep it PG because I know Bree is probably listening. She's like, "Shut up, John! Don't even do it."
I know.
Bree is the champion.
She is.
Bree found. I'll give Let's Chat Live a shout out because we're on the Let's Chat Live. But still, I've never had a network find me to join the club. Do you know what I'm saying? Usually you see them and they're like, well, send us an episode and we'll talk about it and give, they kind of just brush you off like, we'll see if your content is worthy. She actually found me and was like, checked out the show, liked it. You should consider, this, and that. And I was just like, shit. The first thing wasn't, this is how much we are. You need to pay me this. You need to do this. If you expect anything out of us, you better change this. We don't like the part with it. No, she just went, great show. Think we could help each other out. And it was just like the most warm welcome I've ever had. So I remember we scheduled this sometime in early January. We scheduled this interview. And, it's funny enough, 3 days ago, I actually joined the club before the scheduled interview. But yeah, I can't shout her out enough. She's great.
And I can shower Bree so much praises because we're in the same shoes as you were, like when we first started. I mean, I think we interviewed with Let's Chat. I want to say like 2 months, 2 months in our show, because we've only been around for 6 months.
Okay.
And since when we got this interview, I shit you not, we've just gone up from there because of all the support and the help. And everyone in the Let's Chat Club crew is just so amazing. Like you can hit them up, DM them, just comment, and it's just like everyone's willing to help, everyone's willing to pitch in, and it's an awesome crew, and it's people who have like-minded ideas. Like, hey, we want to help you get to the next level, and that's what we're all about.
The one thing that really got me, I did a Zoom meeting with Chris. Revel's
amazing too.
Revel, okay. So I did a Zoom meeting with him, and I remember telling him, you know, he was going through the 2 packages they had, and I remember him telling me what they included, and I kind of told him everything we already had. You know, I can already make a good logo. We've already got the drops and audio and stuff. He's probably the first person in my life that talked me out of the more expensive package and told me to get the lower cost one because that's all I needed. And all he talked about was, I got plenty of guests that I can get on your show. I've got plenty of shows I can get you on. Like it just felt like less of a network, and like I kind of know why they call it a group.
Yep.
Because it is a group. A network is kind of like I'm at the top. I got 100 people. Those 100 people are going to go get 100 people. Then those 100 people will get, you know, like a pyramid scheme. You never know what you're selling, but you're like, if I can just get 200 people on my team, and I'm like, team for what? You know? And they're like, well, don't worry, they'll get 200. I'm like, to do what? And it's just like, what are we selling? I got talked into a pyramid scheme one time, and I kept asking the guy, what are we selling? He goes, we'll get to that. First, you need to buy the booklet and get 100 people on your team. And I was like, you expect me to recruit 100 people, and I can't even tell them what the fuck we're selling? He goes, don't worry. He says, don't worry, because each one of them is going to recruit 100 people. And I looked at him and went, oh, you're a pyramid scheme. And he goes, no. And I was like, what are we selling? He goes, we'll get to that. And I was like, all right, I'm out. But with him, it was so organic. All he wanted to do was help us.
Yep.
All he wanted to do. And if anybody out there that's listening to this has a podcast and you're looking to join a group that's not going to tie you down, that's not going to make you stay, that's not going to make you only, be with them, I would say it's this group. That's all they wanted to do was help for the full Zoom call. We maybe got into the financial shit the last 10 minutes when we were just at the tail. The whole call was about how you can help these shows and these shows can help your show, and we can all help each other's show. There was never a moment of what I want from you. It's what we can do for each other. And that's when I called my brother and I was like, sold. He was like, you sure? And I was like, I'm not taking any questions on this. We're good. Thank you.
That was the first thing that we did too. Right after we got on this same very call, we were just like, we're sold. Whatever you want from us.
Are you guys on it? The Dumbfound, you guys are on it?
Yep.
Hey,
we're like one of the first.
Digital high five, buddy. Woo. There it is. That's what I'm talking about.
I want to say we were like one of the first, 4 or 5 people that or shows that we got in. So
now we're plugged in for life, though. Me and you now. I'm going to be on the Dumbfound. I'm having you on the Half Hour Bros.
That means you're going to have to drink some Hennessy with us, though.
Oh my God!
You already said yes.
Yes,
you got it, man. Yeah. You know what though? That means the mango margarita mix is coming out when you get on this one.
Sounds about good.
You're gonna have to drop the Hennessy for one night if that's possible.
Well, I must sneak it in there somehow, though.
You look like the guy that buys that and then buys the case of water on his grocery trip. You're like, all right, we got the Hennessy. What else did we need, guys? Oh, you needed some water? All right, cool. We'll get some bread too. You got the Hennessy though, right? All right, perfect. All right, now we need eggs.
Well, you don't know. Maybe I scramble my eggs with Hennessy too. So
just stop. So I'm about to hang on. Let's minimize his. I'm clicking my mouse. I'm getting you at it. Hennessy with scrambled eggs.
I'm just kidding. I will never do that anymore.
That's right. After last time I tried it.
Just at one experimental phase.
Yeah, sponsor us, Hennessy, please.
I don't think you're what they want is the image.
No,
they don't want that out there. They're gonna sponsor the guy that's gonna need a fucking liver transplant in a week. Maybe they'll sponsor your surgery. Maybe that's the only thing they'll sponsor.
Right along the episode with a horse.
Yes. Yes.
They're like, yeah, we were reviewing your content. We appreciate you drinking the product, but really didn't like the episode where the guy fucks the horse. We found that a little lowbrow for the Hennessy people. Like, god damn.
Oh god.
I hope the horse was on some Hennessy. For the love of God, I hope he was on something.
Yeah,
Horse tranquilizer.
Probably.
Would you use a Trojan condom because it's a horse? I guess maybe.
Gosh,
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I usually get on. I usually ride a horse. I don't ride a horse. I don't. There's
Well, that
usually
horse rid him.
discernment.
So okay. So
Wait, hang on. It was the horse and the guy, or the guy and the horse?
I'm gonna let you listen to it because I don't know if there's some PG people watching.
All
over
right,
here,
you know
so
what?
I
Let's
don't-
keep this
yeah.
Let's Chat live. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. How do I pivot? How do I pivot? How do I pivot?
Yeah.
Um,
Pivot.
I can already picture Brie right now with her fist clenched. She's like, "Damn it! I shouldn't have asked John."
Yeah, you went from needing a promotion to you're gonna get a call tomorrow and say we're gonna have to let you go, John. We're gonna have to let you go.
Yeah, you're never gonna be a guest host ever again.
You're getting let go. I'm gonna have to sleep on the couch. Whatever. So,
All right, let's get off of old McDonald's farm and to any other topic.
top 5 movies.
Seabiscuit, The Equestrian.
Maybe Boundless Love. I don't know. I would say maybe Kentucky Derby, a live story. I don't know. No.
Black Beauty.
Oh god.
Oh, I'm hard pivoting off of that one. I am hard pivoting off of that one. The new episode. I don't even know where we fucking transition from here.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Whew. All right. Let's all find our center here for a second. God damn.
Oh,
Now,
God.
note to self. All right. Next time John goes, anytime you guys need any help, you just tell him we're all set, buddy. Thanks.
We got it.
We're all good over here.
I'll figure it out. I don't
I
know
think
what
my
I'm gonna
cat
do,
wants
but
to
it's,
guest
it's all
host this
good.
week. I think we're good.
It's all good.
I might get my floating hand. That's my wife to come in and guest host instead of this.
That sounds like, hey, sure.
I'll tell you what, the downloads would definitely jump if you had a fucking floating hand guest hosting.
That would be amazing.
All right. Top movies. We actually just reviewed our favorite movie between me and my brother, Spaceballs.
It's a good one.
Spaceballs from Mel Brooks. John,
Yeah.
Spaceballs? Have you
Like
seen it?
I have, yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. 'Cause
Many times.
I was about to say, we can, this is no lie. If you put the movie on, I can quote 90% of it from start to finish. I've seen it over 100 times. It's my favorite movie.
But when will then be now?
Soon.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. It says everything you need to know. That should almost be the Brotherhood chant if you run into somebody who's seen it.
I feel like that is possibly the best scene in any movie ever.
Wait a minute. How can we watch the movie? We're still making it.
I love it.
Spaceballs, the DVD. Oh my God.
Baseballs, the flamethrower.
Oh my. The kids love this one. I'm telling you, bro, don't start. Don't fucking start, dude. I can quote this entire movie. It's a problem.
What in the real world, what my job is, I work at a performing arts center. And of course, since there's a pandemic, we can't actually have live things on a stage, but we have a movie screen. And me and one of my coworkers have been begging our boss to let us show Spaceballs just so we can put up on the marquee Spaceballs, the marquee message.
That would be great. What's the audience range level age that you have of people that are in your performing arts group?
Oh, it's an old movie theater that's now a roadhouse for all kinds of things, from like classic rock to classical music to ballet to
that's
touring,
cool.
educational
Like improv,
shows.
maybe.
There's some of that too, yeah.
That's cool.
So, but it's a pandemic, so our 1,000-seat theater seats 50 people.
God damn. That's a nice little audience, though. If you get,
if we get 50 people to show up, it's amazing.
Yeah, if you can get 50 people to because it's so different in the digital age, you can always get 50 people to tune in. But can you get 50 people to get in their car, drive, park, give up an afternoon of their time to sit and because you can always tune into shit and then still be doing other stuff. People think when they pull numbers digitally, it's a big deal, and it kind of is. But pulling real crowd numbers is still the hardest grind out there. Pulling a physical audience to come sit down and look you in your fucking eyes and be like, "Go, performer, man, do it!" Yes.
Yeah.
Now you just got me wanting to watch Spaceballs again. Shit.
I was about to say I'm gonna find out what it's streaming on as soon as we're done. It's got to be somewhere.
These are not them. These are their stunt doubles. The princess was like a 40-year-old guy fucking smoking a cigar.
With a beard. With a big beard. I love it. Oh.
R.I.P. John Candy. He was the GOAT. Trains, planes, and automobiles.
Yep.
God. He was a shower curtain ring salesman in planes, trains. That's the worst. That is such a old school job as a shower curtain ring salesman. There's no way that exists today.
No, you've got Amazon. Doesn't need it.
Oh, right. Dude, Amazon has just destroyed the market. I told you our whole show was built from an Amazon credit card. Literally, everything we got from our, we just upgraded to the Joe Rogan podcast. They use the Shure mics.
Mm-hmm.
They came out with one that was a step down that was just for podcasting that looks just like it, but it's a little shorter. And we just these are actually pretty price efficient. The other ones are goddamn $700 a pop. These I think were in the mid 200s a piece. So it wasn't too crazy. It wasn't too crazy, but you do get the same audio that you would get from the $700 one. It's made just Shure is really made for music.
Mm-hmm.
People kind of took it and used it for podcasting. But originally it's made for laying down vocals and shit like that. So they came out with this one that's kind of just for the podcaster. It has a USB plug-in where you can auto level your stuff on it. It's pretty nice, man. It was definitely an investment. After we bought these, we were like, pause. Just hit the fucking pause button. I don't even want to buy a pop filter right now. We're so fucking stressed out on this goddamn budget that we had for the show.
Is that the Shure? Was it MV something? MV7?
Yep, that's it. That's the one. Yeah.
Those are $250, man.
They are, but we didn't have much that we had to pay for in sense of the show, and like I said, we had a credit card, so it was more of we pay a monthly payment on it, and we had a cap limit on it, and I said, look, let's just bite the bullet. We'll pay this thing off. We've had a couple, not too many ads. We've had a couple of ads from people that I know plug-in businesses. We do sell ad space a little bit. We're not really kind of big enough for a company to be plug my shit to the 400 people that are going to catch it. But we do have some people that have gotten it before. But I said we just need to bite the bullet and do it now. That way, when anything craps out, we don't have to go replace it 5 times.
Right.
So hopefully we've got a 6-year microphone. And not something that'll bust, because our original one's busted. We the audio interface we bought was better than the mics we had, and for some reason I went to turn the gain up, and the mic was like, "All right, I'm gonna head out."
Oh no!
Yeah, the mic was like, "I don't know what the fuck you just plugged me into, but I'm running off of iOS 8, and this is iOS 97. I don't know what the fuck's going on." He packed up a briefcase and hopped in a fucking Uber and drove off. Those mics were gone. So I kind of wanted mics that Now, the next thing we will need to replace is we got a PreSonus audio interface. And it's okay, man, but I find on these streaming shit like Skype and StreamYard, I have to turn my gain almost all the way up for my mic to pick up.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that. I'm not there's still a lot to learn on this podcast and shit, for sure. Because I am not an engineer by sorts at all. I work at a fucking grocery store in the produce department. me and my wife both. So when I was starting this, I was barely sending emails without having to pull up a YouTube video on how to work Gmail. So we're definitely YouTube podcasters. We definitely, and we had a couple episodes to YouTube. We kind of stopped doing that. It wasn't worth the editing in iMovie to put it together. Our goal at some point is to get a camera and have live of us, you can actually watch our show on YouTube. But then again, it doesn't count towards your Libsyn downloads. So it doesn't count towards getting monetized. So they really have a lot of shit to figure out in the podcasting world as far as their algorithms go. And that's the end of my rant right there. Pause. Yeah.
Well,
and rant.
I just looked at the time. I don't know if it's because we got a little bit too into talking about somebody else's podcast. But,
oh man, Any Lovin's Good Lovin', I guess, as the song goes. I guess he took what he could get.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
he looked at that horse in its big brown eyes and said,
So before we go back down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm good. My bad. Pivot. We're out.
But yeah, no, I really wanted to thank you for coming and spending the evening chatting with us. And it's been a lot. It's been a really fun time. So thank you.
I appreciate it. To you, I kind of appreciate John. I appreciated him a lot in the beginning before he filled my brain with nightmares for the next 3 nights. And the fact that I have to go listen to that episode now is haunting because I kind of don't now. I want to listen to any other episodes you have other than that one. But I can't lie. The next time I open my phone screen, I'm going to sit down with my wife and go, I don't know what the fuck we were doing. Just shut everything off. We are listening to this right now.
Yeah. So from half hour bros, we pretty much became hour bros right now because we filled an hour pretty fast.
We filled an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you guys could ever find a horse, I guess we could fill another hour.
Okay. So where can we find you on the internet?
All right. If you Google Half Hour Bros podcast, you'll find us. Libsyn actually has a podcast player that I didn't know about. You can download that. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify, Podbay, Podbean, Good Pods, Pod Pirate. We're everywhere but YouTube. To be honest with you, we're everywhere but YouTube. You can find us. Just open up your search engine, type in Half Hour Bros. Follow us on Twitter at Half Hour Bros Pod. Shoot us an email, halfhourbros@gmail.com. Half Hour Bros Pod at Twitch. You're not going to find a lot of content because we're still figuring it out, but we're on there. I don't know, man. Maybe a TikTok, maybe an Instagram, maybe a Facebook. You can also find us on the Let's Chat Live whenever this comes out. We'll be on this. We're really excited and thankful to join you guys. Just not in this live stream, but as a group. I thought that was a really cool atmosphere, and it's one I haven't really seen with a lot of the networks out there. So I'm going to definitely plug the Let's Chat Live on our social to get you guys some more exposure because not too many people are doing what this thing's doing out there.
Awesome. Thank you for saying that. And John, where can everybody find you?
Well, first off,
what stable can everyone find you at?
First off, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to fill in for this past hour, but you can find us wherever you find your podcast. To make things easier for every one of you, we just started we just launched a website as well, so you can find us at the dumbfounddeadpod.com. You can find all our information there. Simple as that.
Awesome.
Website, how easy was that to get into, if I can ask before we wrap this up? What did you guys go through? We've been thinking about a website and like a linked tree.
We used it's me that does everything I show anyways, but I used Podpage, and that was pretty quick.
I have to type that down. I always like to ask people what they do in any scenario so that I can find one thing that I'm not doing and do it.
I like that too.
And thank you. I appreciate you, buddy. This has been really fun. Whenever you want to do this next, I open schedule for you guys on this. I'll do this any night you guys want.
Awesome. Well, to our viewers, our listeners, thank you so much. Again, my name is Robert. Here with John, Kurt, Half Hour Bros. Thank you so much. Follow us on Twitter, Let's Chat Podcast or at Let's Chat Live, or the website Let's Chat Podcast.net. Thank you so much, and have a great night.